you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
You know how sometimes you got so much to say, but 16 ain't enough. They only give you 16.
Is this the verse? I've never heard this.
Man, it's
Let's
like,
go.
I mean, I got so much to say, you know.
Nazarene, this is for you.
The world has said like so much to me, and I just want to give it right back to them, you know. When 16 ain't enough, but I only get 16, that's like a cage, you know. 16 ain't enough. I really can't say what I want to say. You know, it's just a glimpse, that's all. Just one little single glimpse. Just a page. But I guess I'm defeating the purpose of doing all this talking. Summer 88, I was at 8 or 9. I was at wintertime. Oh, never mind. I'm in my room, booming, drawing LL Cool J album covers with Crayolas on construction paper. I'm trying to fuck my neighbor. I'm trying to hook my waves up. I'm trying to pull my grades up to get them saddle lace-ups. Before Lamar was Jacob, before them girls wore makeup, before my voice would break up, before we toured them shake clubs, before my mama wake up, before my crumbs would cake up, before they tell me they love me and will never break up, before the time she makes love to someone that I thought was my homeboy, but boy was I wrong now. I don't budge, don't want much, just a roof and a porch and a Porsche and a horse, and unfortunately, but of course, an assortment of torches that scorches the skin when they enter intruders who's tutors did a lousy job. How's he God if he lets Lucifer let loose on us? That noose on us won't loosen up, but loose enough to juice us up, make us think we do so much and do it big, like they don't let us win. I can't pretend, but I do admit it feel good when the hood pseudo celebrate. Hence why every time we dine, we eat until our belly ache. Then go grab the finest wine and drink it like we know which grape and which region it came from us, if we can name them. Hint, hint, it ain't well, hell just fell 3,000 more degrees cooler. Y'all can't measure my worth, but when you try, you'll need a ruler made by all the Greek gods, because the odds have always been stacked against me when back's against the wall. I feel right at home, y'all, sitting right at home, all Kelly green with envy while I'm jelly beans descending into the palm of a child. Looks up at mama and smile with such a devilish grin, like where the hell have you been? She's yelling, selling's a sin, well so is telling young men that selling is a sin if you don't offer new ways to win. A dolphin gon' shake his fin, regardless if he gets in or out of water. Most important thing for him is to swim, and Flipper didn't hold his nose, so why shall I hold my tongue? I miss the days of old when one could hold his gal on his arm, and I set off these alarms when cameras snap, snap, snaps, return fire, pat, 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 pat. They'll learn why mere privacy is so essential. They won't make no laws, I'll break their law till they see out our window. I'll take the fall to make them all treat humankind more gentle.
Okay, go ahead.
Forsake them all, I hate them all, don't like them, don't pretend to. Yeah, something tells me we ain't in Kansas anymore. All that used to be cool ain't cool anymore. All them women we were pursuing, now they want more, and they deserve it all. Don't settle for what ain't yours. When 16 ain't enough.
Listen, I've never heard that before. That right? That's making a strong case. You have never heard T.I. do nothing like that. You ain't heard Luda do nothing like that. You ain't heard Scarface do nothing like that. You ain't heard Lil Flip do nothing like that. You ain't heard none of them cats. You ain't heard Weezy do nothing like that.
It was a profound verse.
Can you make the case off of one verse that he's the king of the South, though?
Nazarene is my brother, but I can't give him the king of the South based off of just this verse alone.
But you got to say it's one of the best verses you ever heard in your life, though. Some would say Nicki made an entire career off of one verse.
Nicki?
Yeah, that monster
Oh,
verse.
the monster. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You can make the case. Put her on the map, right? No?
Three Stacks was he was spitting.
We mentioned him the other night.
We did.
He was one of the top 5, right? But if he said, "Here's my resume," and put that song up, who else gonna put up a song like that with that verse? Can any of them other MCs? We played Gossip Folks with Luda the other day. Tight verse. It ain't on that level.
I think I could find a verse from Ludacris off of his Release Therapy album, Grammy-winning award, by the way.
Yeah.
That was the album where he cut his braids off.
I remember.
I think there's a song that I can maybe find. I just got to do some digging.
I dare you. before the end of the show?
I got you, my brother.
I'd love to hear it. By the way, real quick before we bring Damian in, get J-Dub up in here. J-Dub been on hold forever, since 1875. J-Dub, give me your height, your color, and your hood, King. Come on.
Hey, 511, Carmel Brown, South Central.
South Central checking in. Drop that. Come on. Yeah. Sorry I had you on hold for so long. The show's been going crazy over the last hour here. What's on your mind? Real quick here.
Hey, my brother, Nazarene was right on point. I thought I heard myself talking when I heard him speak.
I could hear some J-Dub in Nazarene for sure. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. We have to underline the word critical thinking. We also have to underline the word where we have proactive, because we've been reacting. One thing that we have to realize, ever since slavery, it's been a conscious act for the powers that be that hide behind the scenes of society in the power rooms or corporations and government, that they had a hidden agenda that they are exposing in the open now with arrogance up under Donald Trump. We live in a time and an era that's really dire. It's going to be helter-skelter. It's going to be calamity if we don't unite together. Brother, you are blessed. You have the power. Because you are a man of God like myself, you're a mentor like myself, you have a lot of people that listen. We need to call our brothers together, become like-minded, have a think tank, be one-minded, and develop a paradigm shift. And what I mean by that is what you just played with that rap music that's powerful and positive. And it can influence the masses because you're nationwide. You have a platform. It's exposure. And with a brother like, Lord have mercy, help me, Lord Jesus. A brother like Cornel West.
Yeah. Because
he's a man of God. And he even speaks on how corporations is trying to develop the war against the poor. Martin Luther King spoke on that, how the military complex is more important than human life. Poverty, the human race. Humanity, we need to unite up unto humanity no matter what nationality, worldwide, but we can start in L.A. and go United States wide and then spread abroad. But the point is, humanity is what's important. God created the human race for this very reason, with men like us to have a conscious. Our minds are being open. We are woke. We are spiritually alive. We have to push back. We have to use every tool in the tool case, my brother, because this is real talk, man.
No. I have to let you go because I got an interview I got to get to. Yes, but if you don't give him call of the night, I've never heard you.
We'll talk another time.
I've never heard you on fire the way that you are tonight. You ate your Wheaties tonight, J-Dub. I love.
Oh, my brother, I had to change my rhythm because I got to be heard because we got some business, man, and we got to get together and make it happen, Captain.
Well,
Take care,
your rhythm is working. I appreciate you. Have a good night, King. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. You've heard many of my post one-on-one interviews on my show with people that I feel have their fingers on the pulse of Black America, and tonight you get another boost to Black brilliance and excellence. Interviews with people that I feel that you need to know. He's a mentor and life coach currently working on his 5th published book. We got to find out if that book is done yet. He's an alpha male, he says, and single father of amazing twin boys with sole custody for 10 years and counting. Former Capitol Records recording artist, discovered by the Whispers. Been writing professionally for 23 years as an author and a publisher. He worked as an actor and worked with people like Robert Townsend and Brian McKnight and Marcus Houston and Jennifer Lewis. Has shared the stage with legendary recording artists The Whispers and OJ's and Naughty by Nature. He's also the ambassador for the local STEM club in the San Gabriel Valley area with a focus on teaching financial literacy to elementary and middle school kids. And tonight, he descends back into the Danny Mo Show to discuss being a father, the incoming Father's Day holiday, and the benefits and pitfalls of being a mentor to young African Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, inside my post one-on-one, author, mentor, father, Damian Rowe in a building. What's going on?
My goodness, brother. What do I say after that?
I don't know, man. You got to follow J-Dub, and you got to follow Nazarene tonight, man. We've had some bomb callers tonight. Can you follow them kings? Oh no, Damien.
Man, I recognized J-Dub's voice when he started talking, and I have to agree with you, man. He's never been lit like this.
Yeah, something about, he said he had to change up his style. What did he say? Change up his cadence or his flow. Whatever he's doing is working. I was just sitting there. I'm never quiet during J-Dub talking. I always feel like I got to jump in and do some double dutch with him. But tonight I was just sitting there.
I was soaking it up like Bounty myself, brother.
Hey, let me officially say, Damien didn't know he was coming on the show until today. I was like, who could come on and talk mentor and Father's Day with me? You came into mind. I reached out. You've been incognito, man. What's the deal? I'm like, what's the deal?
Hey, I've been working on that project, man. It has to come out next year. It has to. So, you know, I'm just back in the lab, man, trying to put something positive together for the people. This project has been more than 20 years in the making, man. So I'm just asking God to guide me along the way. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I look at it like that make me or break me book. So it has to be right. It has to be released when it's time for it to be released. And let me tell you, man, when I'm done with it, it's gonna be a brush fire, brother.
Now you're saying make me or break me, and it's 20 plus years in the making, but this is like your 5th book. How is that?
Yeah, so, you know, without saying too much, some people have, the reason why I say that is because it's going to be extremely transparent. It's going to be a transparent publication of my truth. And the reason why I say make me or break me, man, is because, as you know, some people in society really struggle with accepting what truth is. And so this is near and dear to my heart because I've been quiet about it for so long. And, you know, I've always been that writer, Danny, where, you know, I'm not the roses are red, violets are blue type of dude because that's fairy tale to me. And I don't write about fairy tales. I write about real life, and I write about real life situations and struggles. And in my books, I try to take negative perspective and teach people how to come up with positive resolution. So, you know, whether people want to receive the truth or not, it is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
Sounds like this is going to have some form of a racial angle to it. Is that fair to say?
Not at all.
No. Okay.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. Yes, it will. It will.
Okay.
It will.
I can't wait to read it, man. Absolutely fantastic. Sounds like, man.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have, it's definitely going to have that.
All right. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we continue the conversation with Damian Rowe. By the way, top 5 dead or alive. You know how we do. Here's your category for tonight. You tell me on the other side. Your top 5 reasons you love being a father. I want you to think about that and give me your answer on the other side. All right, King?
I got you.
1-800-920-1580, Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580, Post One-on-One with Damian Rowe. Stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that's between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022. This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. Eligibility criteria apply and funding is limited. For more information, visit COVID
covidpaidsick.com. If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that has between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022.
This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate.
For more information, visit covidpaidsick.com.
Something new is happening in California's public schools.
They're called community schools.
One of the foundations of community schools is shared decision making,
where parents and families, students and educators make decisions as one.
Community schools lift the voices of folks that have traditionally been underserved.
Many of our classes are designed around our own students' cultures, their background, their personal experiences.
We bring culturally relevant curriculum to the classroom based on what their specific needs are.
Improving student achievement and innovative classes like cybersecurity and gardening.
And we assist families with their needs.
Some schools have parent education programs, cooking and nutrition classes.
Everything from medical or dental services to immigration law services.
This is a one-stop shop that serves the needs of not just the students, but their families as well.
They're California's community schools, reimagining public education. Paid for by the California Teachers Association.
Leroy, 71's backed up. What's your 20? Over.
Olivia needs more drivers for her trucking company to go the extra mile.
Got 3 more stops to make.
She wants to hitch a team to drive business forward.
Lots of double nickels on the 169. You know what I'm over? This driver shortage.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
In conversation inside my Post 101 with author Damian Rowe, Top 5 Dead or Alive. You know, it's a tradition on this broadcast, and I got to bring it to you as well. Your category, Top 5 Reasons You Love Being a Father, especially as we get closer and closer to our Black Father's Day coming up on Sunday. Go.
I love being a father, Danny, because it gives me an opportunity to constantly be present. That's number one. Number two, it gives me an opportunity to constantly be active in my kid's life. Number three, it gives me an opportunity to always seize the opportunity whenever needed to fight for my kids. Number four, I get to be a 24-hour, round-the-clock protector for them. And lastly, I feel like my fifth one is probably one of the stronger ones because it gives me an opportunity to be my kid's best teacher.
Oof, that's it right there. I tell my daughter.
The reason I stress that last one, I saved that last one for last, is because whenever I have clients that I'm coaching, I always try to express to them that if you continue to neglect your role as a parent to teach your kids the things that they're going to need to help them navigate life, the streets are going to teach them.
That's right.
And when they get caught up, if they get caught up in the streets and, you know, everything that comes along with being out there, you know, you can't fault them for the choices they make because you forced them to make those choices because you failed to guide them.
I think Pac told us best. He said, "Dear mama, can you save me in F peace because the streets got our babies?" Real talk. Society wants your child. Yeah. We talk about it on this show all the time. Society wants your child. If you don't show them the right way to go, trust and believe, there is a segment of the population that will take your child and show them the way that they want to show them how they should live their lives.
And I'll take it a step further because of a lot of things we hear and see in our current event. On the flip side of that, even for the parents that are out there, you know, active in their kids' life or somewhat active in their kid's life. If you don't stay constant in teaching them that, there are endless groups out there waiting to unteach your children everything they've learned thus far and implement their belief system into your child, which could be contradictory to how you raised them.
That's facts. We're going to touch on mentoring later on in this hour, but I think you and I have had brief conversations about mentoring, how you can be the best mentor of all time. You get a young man, let's say he's 12, 13 years old. You spend time with him maybe once, twice a week, maybe an hour or two each time, and you teach him all the principles that you were taught growing up, and you go, I'm going to treat this young man like he's my son. But the problem is, he got to go back home. He got to go back home to that father that's not being a good father. He's got to go back home, and maybe he's around that uncle that ain't doing the right thing, or around them friends in his neighborhood that ain't doing the right thing. It's like, if he doesn't have a constant reminder that this is the positive way to go to live your life, I'm telling you, he going to fall by the wayside, and they're going to get him. That's why what you're doing with your twin sons, and I'd love for you to speak a little bit more on that, by the way, that you're a single father of twin boys. I know that you're doing a fantastic job because, like you said, 24/7, you are their best teacher. And they're going to judge every man in the future by what you have taught them.
Yeah, and everything you just asked me is something that I actually spoke about in one of my last books, Modern Day Mentor, as you know. Mm-hmm. Why I feel so honored to be my children's father is because it has afforded me the opportunity to fulfill a promise that I made before I even got married, back in 2007, right? And my promise was, when I have kids, my kids are never going to be able to fix their mouth to tell anybody what their dad never did for them. I could talk about it all day long because that's my story. But that will never be my children's story, because when you grow up without a father, or even a mother for that matter, present in your life to help you through the rough years and wasn't there to guide you, and you know how that made you feel as a child, why do you turn around and make your children feel the exact same way you didn't like feeling? It's insanity. And so now I get to be the father to my kids that my father wasn't to me. My kids are only 13 years old. They have a thriving business. I started a company for my kids when they were only 10 years old.
Wow.
Within 90 days, because of my dedication to watching my kids win and wanting to see them thrive and succeed in life, in 90 days, my kids had customers in over 13 cities.
Wow.
And now they have a thriving beverage company that is gaining more and more popularity.
Now, you can't just toss it out there without giving out the information on how we can get involved and help them build that brand. What are we talking about here? Beverage company. What is? Is there a website? Is there a socials? What are we doing?
Yeah, so they don't have a website right now. They just do a delivery service. They make fresh, original blend, cold pressed juices, and they deliver them to people in the community. And the reason we started that for them is because when the pandemic first came around, the very first time, all the restaurants were shut down, and nobody could go out of the house basically for a long time. So what we did, we started juicing here at the house to stay healthy, but we were making so much juice that we wanted to share it with people we knew because we didn't want it to go to waste. And we wanted to help other people stay healthy as well and not get COVID-19, hopefully. So when everything got started, it just took off, man. And they started their company with, I think, like two or three different flavor smoothies. And then after the smoothie sales started to slow down, we had a meeting here at the house, and I said, listen, the smoothie sales are slowing down. We need to think about offering your customers something else. And then we came up with cold-pressed juices. And so once we started making the juices, I bought them their first juicer. And within a 90-day period of getting their first juicer, their sales skyrocketed so high, they had their investment back in 60 days.
Wow.
And after that first year, they got picked up by a black-owned restaurant in Chino called R&R Breakfast Spot, and R&R Breakfast Spot has been selling their juices for about a year and a half now. And they're 13. They're 13, man. Can you imagine where with God's grace, of course. Can you imagine where they're going to be by the time they hit 18?
I think what they're going to be is they're going to be major entrepreneurs and giving dad the love for the rest of their lives. You ain't never going to be in an old folks home, man. You're going to be taken care of. Trust me.
Well, I hope so, man. But even if I'm not, man, I know my blessing is going to come when God's ready for me to have it. But like I said, just talking about fathers and being present and being active, man, I'm so honored, man, that I get to live in this moment and fulfill my own promise to myself and to my kids that they'll never be able to speak ill of what I never did for them, because I knew how that made me feel as a child, man. And I hated the world for many years, man, but it was because I didn't understand. I didn't understand why my dad was absent. I didn't understand why he didn't want to call me and say happy birthday or Merry Christmas. I just remembered how it made me feel. So I swore never to make my children feel that way. And, man, these kids are having the time of their life right now, let me tell you. You can also find them on Instagram at Jujo Beverage. That's Jujo Beverage, at Jujo Beverage. They're twins, so their names are Justin and Jordan. So I took the first two letters of each of their names and created their company, Jujo Beverage. And the reason why I created that way is because I said, being a single father, if I were to ever get sick, God forbid, and anything happened to me, and I'm not here to take care of my kids, I didn't want them, they can't live off my bachelor's degree. But I created something for them that they could continue to build together and live off of it. And the reason why I created that company name is because I didn't want them fighting over who dad gave permission to run the company. You're twins, you're brothers, you share everything. So it's not your company or it's not your company. It's both of your company, and you're going to work together to run it until you can't run it no more.
Man, that is really, really inspiring. What if I want a juice? How do I get it? You going to deliver it to me? Is that how we getting down?
The twins will deliver it to you. Just hit them up on Instagram with a DM, request a juice menu. They'll send you a juice menu, and they will make your juices fresh and schedule a delivery date. And that's how they've been getting their juices out to the public, man. They have customers all the way from Moreno Valley all the way to Pasadena. And just recently, they acquired a handful of customers in the high desert area. And we primarily only service San Gabriel Valley, but people way beyond San Gabriel Valley are demanding their juices. So we go wherever the juice orders go.
All right, because I'm in Leimert Park now, and I'm on from 9 p.m. to midnight. How do I get my juice? You going to come out here at 9 p.m.? Is that what you're doing?
Hey, I can show you.
He choked up on now. He said, Danny, you probably pushing it.
Hey, we can show you better than we can tell you, so place the order, brother.
Okay. I'm going to take you up on that. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, I got some clips that I brought in that I want to talk with Damien about, things that have been bubbling within the black zeitgeist. Drink up, yo, over the past few days here. And also, I want you to answer this question and answer this question on the other side. I'll ask you the question now, Damien, okay? Because I want to know, on our primary topic of conversation tonight, do you find yourself discussing social and racial topics with your sons more than anything else, especially on holidays, especially like Father's Day coming up real soon here? Do you find yourself tossing out those topics of conversation instead of just enjoying each other as a family? Tell me on the other side. 1-800-920-1580. Damian Rowe, inside my Pulse 101, Danny Morrison Show, KBLA, Talk 1580 right now. This is your news and traffic. Observe.
Nighttime is the right time for Danny Morrison on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Authorities in Philadelphia have recovered a body along I-95 where a tanker caught fire over the weekend. That eventually led to the collapse of an elevated portion of the interstate on Sunday morning. Governor Josh Shapiro has since declared an emergency declaration with the goal of accelerating repairs to the heavily traveled roadway. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is looking for another police commissioner following the abrupt resignation of Keishant Sewell yesterday. She became the first woman to be in charge of the NYPD, but reports indicate she was frustrated after being micromanaged and in a power struggle. Mayor Eric Adams, who is black, praised Sewell for helping lower crime, and Sewell drew praise from the largest police union, the PBA. However, Black Lives Matter released a statement saying her appointment was an effort by the mayor to apply a failed way of policing. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
The pandemic may be over, but many Angelinos could be at risk of losing the place they call home. It's important to know your rights as a residential renter in the city of LA. Did you know eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt that was due before March 31st, 2023? And that you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice, also known as an unlawful detainer. Learn more about your rental rights at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
paper, heart screams with emotion. It's my daily devotion. That verses stay deeper than the ocean. So hip-hop, you owe me a promotion. Yeah, I do a little boasting and bragging. What's all the commotion and nagging about? Cause I'm still the champ in the South. Cause rappers get in the booth and I keep dragging them out. Well, they fired in these pink slips, I'm handing them out. Cause this is theater of the mind. Consider it a sign of what's to come next. My money's just fine, bank filled with dumb checks. Terrorist threat flow, proceed to drop like Mr. Funk Flex. But I don't do it for the money, I do it from the heart. I do it with the beatbox, I did it from the start. I do it for the DJs, I do it for the charts. The Van Gogh flow, Luda do it cause it's art. I do it for the fans, I do it on command. I do it for the front row, I do it for the stands. I spit it for the hood, I do it for the block. And since 9 years old, I did it for hip-hop. I don't do it for the cars and the fancy drops. I do it for hip-hop. I do it for hip-hop. I do it for hip-hop. And I don't do it for the chains and the flashing rocks. I do it for hip-hop. I do it for hip-hop.
Andy making his case on the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. I cannot deny that track moves, and Luda is burning up the mic on that track right there. I've never heard that before.
It's off the Theater of the Mind album.
Wow, Luda got bars like that. I didn't know he had it like that. I've always known that he could spit, but whoa, nice.
You got to listen to Ludacris post-release therapy after 2006.
Yeah, I kind of fell off of that cat after that. I felt he went to Hollywood.
And you can make the case in that regard.
Yeah.
But he still dropped a lot of dope records, like the Undisputed record, where he was in the boxing room with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
It's a lot of records, man. Just check them out. Ludacris, post-2006.
So it sounds like you're making the case, King of the South. Is that where we at? Are we making the case?
I guess for me personally, yes. And the reason why I have issues with that, I don't know why. I like to give respect for those who kind of paved the way.
Yeah.
Because before Ludacris, when you think about Southern hip hop, really you kind of just think about Scarface.
Gotta go Scarface.
And I think about the impact that Scarface had in the hip hop game. You know what I'm saying? Before the Ludacris's and the T.I.'s and the Outkast blew up. Even though Outkast was kind of around the same time as Scarface.
True.
They were a group.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Southern playalistic.
Yeah. So, for me, Ludacris, you know, I think about the early 2000s and how it was between him and Nelly.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? And I was just happy that he got that Grammy in 2006 because I don't think a lot of people respected Ludacris's bars. That record that I just played features Nas and Jay-Z.
They still don't give him his respect. When you say you could say name your top 20 MCs of all time, his name won't come up.
And the reason why is because I don't think he touched on a lot of serious topics a lot.
Okay.
For him, it was a lot of fun and games.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with Busta Rhymes in a lot of ways.
So they're kind of like cartoon rappers a lot of the time.
Unfortunately, yeah. I think that's the knock on Ludacris.
And that's a fair knock.
Yeah.
Let's get Damien back up in here. Damien, you already know how we do. For the listeners, the new listeners, this is how we get down. I brought a few topics that have been bubbling within the black zeitgeist over the past few days. Drink up, y'all. Regarding tonight's topic, I will play a clip in reference to each of the topics I've chosen, share my thoughts immediately thereafter, and we can exchange dialogue accordingly after that. However, I asked you on the other side, I want to get your opinion on what was tonight's primary topic of conversation. Do you find yourself discussing social and racial topics with your sons more than anything else, especially on holidays, especially this coming Father's Day? And is that necessarily a bad thing if you do?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Mm.
And I think for all the fathers listening out there, if you haven't done it, it's imperative if you have black sons, sit them down. You sit them down and talk to them about everything else that ain't even important. Sit down and talk to them about how other people look at them in society because of the color of their skin. Since my kids were probably 4, maybe 5 years old, I've always taught my kids that you are dangerous, not because you're a black boy. You're dangerous because you're smart. So when people ask you if you're dangerous, be sure to tell them yes, but tell them why.
Mm. What do you say to those non-black people that say, look, black men are out there talking about that they have to have the talk with their son. You have to watch out what your circumstances are. You got to watch where you are at all times. Watch out what your surroundings are. Non-black people are saying, especially non-black fathers, we have the same conversations. Y'all ain't special. So what sets our conversations apart from a white man or a Latino or an Asian when they have the talk with their own sons?
Well, as a black father, it's really not my business or my thing to worry about what they discuss with their children. I'm worried about my black sons. So that's what we're going to talk about. And for any white people out there who got a problem with it, you shouldn't have a problem with it because they've been oppressing us for so long that why would we not be talking about it? We've been talking about it for over 400 years. And we ain't going to stop talking about it until we get justice. Period. And if they don't like it, kick rocks. Be somewhere else. But if you out here near us, by us, we're gonna turn up and unite, and we're gonna talk about it until the oppression stops. Period. Right. And I'm gonna educate not only my black sons, I'm gonna educate other black boys and black men out there who may not have those positive black male role models in their life. Maybe they're just coming out of YA. Maybe they're just coming out of county. And maybe the reason why they went there is because they didn't have no positive male influences in their life telling them, how to navigate life. So they did the best they could do with what they were given and ended up in trouble. So I think you and I talked about that many shows ago when I guess the topic of discussion was something like we were talking about young boys who were incarcerated, some of which were doing life in prison. And is it our fault as a society that we weren't there for them?
Right.
So because I know that could easily be somebody's story, it's never going to be the story in my household because I'm actively involved in my kids' life. And hopefully, if God says the same, one day they're going to be fathers. So, should anything ever happen to me, God forbid, my kids are going to be armed with intellect and knowledge of how to raise their sons the way I raised them or even better.
The best weapon of them all for sure. Andy, you had a comment?
Yeah, man. Just listening to you, Brother Damien, it just got me thinking, do we need more black male teachers on all levels, elementary, middle school, high school, and even college?
So that's a slippery slope with me, and it's an excellent question, and here's why I say it's a slippery slope. You have to remember who's steering the ship in the educational system everywhere. You see, it ain't us.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we did have more black male teachers in schools, you have to remember, once they get there, they have a job to do, a curriculum to follow, and it's a situation where they're told what to teach.
That's a good point.
They don't just show up and teach what's right. They'll lose their job for teaching what's right.
That's a good point. He has to follow the curriculum and the syllabus given to him. He's not going to teach what he wants to teach. He's not allowed to. As a matter of fact, some will say it's illegal to.
and I'm gonna take it, and I'll take it a step further, Andy. Look at the news, whatever your favorite news channel is, if you even have one. Listen to what they promote and how turned up they are about promoting belief systems and religious, topics of discussions that come out in politics and in the media. And you see some news media personnel, they're like, okay, so the big topic that's really been going around for the last several weeks has been the pride this and that, and, Target and the pride community and that whole blow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see people in media all on national TV talking about celebrate this, celebrate that, I have to believe within myself, because I'm a truth speaker, you don't believe that. It's impossible for 100% of media personnel to believe the very things they have to sit in front of TV and talk about. The reason they believe it, and the reason they put it on their social media, and the reason why they speak so highly of it, is because they're told to promote it. They're not all promoting it because that's what they love to promote. They're promoting it because they love their livelihood.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
Don't get it twisted and fall for the trick of the enemy. That's a smoke screen that people who control media want to groom us to believe is acceptable. And that's why I said earlier, if you don't teach your kids what's right at home, when they walk out of your front door, society can teach them whatever they want to.
1-800.
And it's gonna boil down to who has more influence: the parents in the home teaching, or the teachers teaching what you don't believe in.
1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we'll get to a couple clips. I brought 4 of them, but we'll get to a couple before Damian shakes the spot. You're Inside My Post 101 with Damian Rowe, author Damian Rowe. Inside My Post 101, Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's Black Music Appreciation Month, one of my favorite months of the year. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you in part by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. What's up, SoCal? Here are a few Black Music Month events to help you celebrate. First stop, throughout June, Disneyland is honoring the history of Black music with bands performing hits by Black artists from various decades. Next, catch the screening of Heart and Soul, a love story at the Grammy Museum, June 8th in the museum's theater. And on Juneteenth, that's right, June 17th, join Mayor Karen Bass and Councilwoman Heather Hutt on Jefferson Boulevard for the naming and ribbon cutting ceremony of the New Orleans Corridor, followed by a second line parade all the way to the main stage in front of Harold and Bells for a concert celebrating Black music with Terrace Martin and Friends, Irvin Mayfield, 1500 or Nothing, and more. Visit NOLA2LAtickets.org. NOLA2LAtickets.org. Fun fact, President Jimmy Carter established June as Black Music Month in 1979. Here's to 44 years.
You know those cigarette butts that you see every day? They're made of microplastics and they line our streets and waterways. On California beaches, they're the #1 plastic you'll find. Over 35 years, cleanups have collected millions combined. But no matter where you see them, they're all getting smaller, eventually leaching into our food, our air, our water. The tobacco industry's to blame for all of the harm that they do. For the harm to the people we love, and the harm to you too. Learn more at undo.org.
Here are 3 ways to commemorate Juneteenth from AARP. 1. Learn the full history. Juneteenth was the end of slavery, but there's more. Begin by learning the whole story. 2. Celebrate. Celebrating our freedom should be a party with a purpose, with family, friends, fellowship, and oh yeah, food. 3. Support Black-owned business. In 1865, we had little to nothing, but as a people, we've been richly blessed. Express your gratitude by supporting our Black-owned businesses.
What would you call a joy that is as solemn as it is sweet and knows no bounds? A joy that's beautifully rooted in soul and resilience. This is Black joy, a joy that reflects pride and honor despite every challenge. AARP believes the power of Black joy is limitless, and we celebrate this joy supreme. Join us in celebrating Black joy at aarp.org/blackcommunity.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Inside My Post 101 with author Damian Rowe. Damian, you get a little bit of pushback inside my DMs right now. A young man named Jeff says he talks real hard now that the lynching stops and the dogs aren't attacking. He's riding hard on the backs of people who did not have the freedom he now has. Humble up and pay homage to the people of who really had to fight. They would have killed you for that arrogance you have the privilege of benefiting from. Calm down, young blood. Calm down.
To each his own, brother. I'm bothered.
Okay. I'm just passing it on. That's all I'm doing. Let's get to this first clip. Let's get to this first clip real fast here. Our first story involving fathers involves Major League Baseball player Tim Anderson. Some of you might recall Tim Anderson found himself embroiled in allegations of infidelity back in 2021 by a mistress after leaked messages between him and her implicated him in having an affair. The woman, Sierra Maria, shared screenshots of her phone log with the White Sox shortstops calling him out for being an unfaithful spouse. Tim had been married to Bria Anderson since 2017, and the couple have 2 daughters together. And Tim was once again the topic of conversation last year after numerous women accused him of cheating on his wife. One of the women even posted a picture of her baby bump on Instagram, tagging Anderson's Instagram profile with the caption, "Baby Father." The DNA test confirmed that he was indeed the father. And for more information, straight from the cheating horse's mouth, here's Tim on the pivot giving his explanation. Listen.
Privately and having 7 while outside your marriage and having to deal with that with Bria and make those things right with her.
You know, we went to therapy, just really digging into, you know, what was it? What caused me to, you know, go into, you know, these spaces or even that space to even create that. It's a tough conversation, it's a tough situation. You know, I feel like we did a lot of work as far as, you know, understanding it and showing my love to, you know, to my wife and to my kids. But, you know, it's something that I'm still going through, trying to master it to get to the point to where I'm okay with walking in it and stepping in it 1,000% for sure.
Don't be silly, rap your willy. Now, Damien, I don't know if Tim Anderson owns a Nintendo, but there was a whole lot of we in that statement. We got counseling. We are working to get better when he was the cheat. My questions are, can a man who cheats on his wife be considered a good husband? And can a man be a good father and a bad husband at the same time? The floor is yours.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
That's a very good question. That's why I said it. I like to bring good questions on the show. That's how I do, you know.
I look at it like this. Danny. If it is in a man's spirit to be a cheater, for whatever triggers him to do that, it don't matter how much counseling he gets. He's going to do it.
But does that make him a bad father if they are a family?
No.
Why do you say that?
It just makes him untrustworthy. It makes him untrustworthy in a relationship to whoever he's in a relationship with, but he could still be a good father.
There will be a number of women that would say a man that is willing to chase after what his loins are telling him rather than keeping the family intact can't be considered to be a good father.
Well, I mean, I guess the jury is still out on that, but you know, I try my best to find good in people, man. So I don't know the dude personally or anything like that, but I mean, you know, when you asked me that question, it brought to mind all the people who got something to say about this particular individual you're asking me a question about, but yet they themselves might be cheating and just haven't got caught yet. So you know, we can't point the finger because we sin differently than other people.
That's some knowledge right there. All right. Our second story involving fathers is about Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle made headlines recently when she shared that she and Dwayne shared the bills in the household 50-50. That's fine to some, but Gabrielle is worth an estimated $40 million. Dwayne Wade is worth an estimated $170 million. But Dwayne inevitably had to respond, and that he did. Listen.
50-50 in our household is, first of all, let's say I have 20 to 50 responsibilities. Right. And my wife have 20 to 50 responsibilities. And when I say that, that means she has a mother, she has her sisters, she has her dad, she has a lot of things that she's responsible for. Right. You know what she does? Right. She pays 100% of that. Right. You know what I do? I pay 100% of my life. When our life come together, my wife is a working actress who spends time away from the family to go work, do our job. Build. Right. We decided together, because I think I said one time we was in Miami, I said something about it being my house that I paid for. My wife looked at me, she was like, you will never say that to me again when it's something that we share. And so my wife was like, that when we moved to LA, I got half on it. You will never say my house again. Wow. She said, you can say that in the arena. And so in our life, our home, 50-50, we purchased it together. Right.
Whoa. So, Damien, if a husband and father makes 4 times the amount as his wife, should they be splitting the bills 50-50? And is it a father's responsibility to be the financial provider and breadwinner in the household, regardless. The floor is yours.
Here's what I'm going to rest my response on, and I'm going to use Dwayne's comments as my response. And he made it very clear. He said, "We decided together." The conversation is over. Because if him and his wife decided that, what do I got to have 2 cents about? That's what they decided.
I think some men would say you should strong arm is probably the wrong term. Let's not go there. I think some men would say, regardless of what your wife says, you should say, keep your cash. I got it. I make way more money than you. Do your thing. Do you, boo. I'm going to take care of everything. You disagree, huh?
It's not that I disagree. Again, I'm just really saying, to each his own. If that's what they worked out, I'm not going to be feeling no kind of way if a husband and wife worked out how they're taking care of their household. I mean, it ain't keeping my lights on. But I'm just saying, he made it very clear that that's what they worked out together. So apparently they talked about it.
The only problem is Dwayne Wade actually. Go ahead.
I think, and I've had this discussion with many people in my circle before too, and I have gotten a wide variety of different responses. Some say yes, because he's the man, he should pay for X, Y, and Z. Some say they should do it together. Everybody has a different opinion. I just think do whatever works for you in your household, because you're the one who has to live with it.
I think the problem is some would say Dwayne Wade was already kind of exhibiting controlling mannerisms and tendencies by making the statement that he made to her back in Florida, talking about, this is my house, I bought this house. It's like, you can't be paying all the bills and then throw that in your wife's face. If you're going to pay all the bills, do it, but always recognize that you are a family and she is doing as much as you are. She may not be paying the bills per se, but she's also lending her own time and energies towards the family to keep you guys healthy. To toss that in a woman's face is foul, and some would say downright controlling. You agree?
I agree, because I mean, a woman brings balance to the family, and in many cases, man, whether the man is paying the bills or not, you know what I'm saying? Women can bring so much value to the foundation of how the family is structured and how the family functions and how the family is built. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take anything away from Gabrielle. She's a contributor, and he benefits from her contribution. So, it would only be fair that he kind of tone that talk down a little bit and just show a little bit more reverence and appreciation, for his wife and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, they both got money, but because you have money doesn't mean you can belittle somebody, especially your woman.
That's right. Especially a woman that's making $40 million. I mean, come on now. She got her own money. She just ain't got money like him. You got 15 minutes? Give me 15 more minutes. We'll finish out these clips. You in?
Let's go.
That's my man. 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. Extended edition of the Post One-on-One with author Damian Rowe. KBLA Talk 1580. Danny Morrison Show. Right now, news and traffic. Stay there.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Authorities in Philadelphia have recovered a body along I-95 where a tanker caught fire over the weekend. That eventually led to the collapse of an elevated portion of the interstate on Sunday morning. Governor Josh Shapiro has since declared an emergency declaration with the goal of accelerating repairs to the heavily traveled roadway. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is looking for another police commissioner following the abrupt resignation of Keishant Sewell yesterday.